Let's go over potential spoilers for Star Wars Episode 9, the final film in the sequel trilogy. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, these past couple of weeks we've been learning a whole lot more about the final film, Episode 9, which will be directed by J.J. Abrams in just a couple of weeks from now in July. So everybody is starting to begin their training for their roles already. In fact, they have been training for their roles, rehearsals have already started, and preliminary work has already begun on principal photography. Now, like with The Last Jedi, right? Star Wars Episode 8. Many years ago, we went over the concept art of the twin suns over the planet of Ahch-To, which ended up being, of course, the death of Luke Skywalker. Now, today, from looking at all the different plot leaks that have been going around on the internet, we actually did learn some additional details on one of the concept art / storyboard descriptions for Star Wars Episode 9. Now, do take this with a grain of salt, because this does indeed involve the Knights of Ren, or at least what we believe is the Knights of Ren. So, one of the storyboard descriptions actually describes that the Knights of Ren, alright? So, 6 shaded figures with primitive weapons such as spears and axes in front of a tall structure. Now, Kylo Ren is absent from the illustration description, nor does the art confirm that they are the Knights. Now, could the tall structure very well be Darth Vader's castle? We do know that the Rogue One creators wanted to see it in another movie for Star Wars as a whole. So, the fact that there are 6 shaded figures with primitive weapons holding axes and spears, etc., in front of a tall structure tells me right then and there that they are indeed the Knights of Ren. This also lines directly up with what we heard about a month ago now, that there are actually going to be a group of male actors in their 20s working with Adam Driver. In fact, they also have been training for their roles before filming begins this July, and the fact that they will be working with Adam Driver tells me that they are for surely the Knights of Ren. But what is this tall structure that they could very well be standing in front of? I think it could either A, very well be the Darth Vader castle that we saw in Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, or B, it could very well be something very new and significant that J.J. Abrams is introducing into the Star Wars canon. Now, I have to say that fans didn't agree with Rian Johnson disregarding the entire concept of the Knights of Ren in The Last Jedi. Rian said he even couldn't fit them in Star Wars The Last Jedi, but however he did try, and that's when he came up with the concept of the Praetorian Guards. Now, if you ask me, he really could have found a different way to implement them in The Last Jedi, you know, if they really wanted to, but Rian just couldn't find a way in his mind. Now, I think it would be a nice addition to have Kylo working with a team for a movie, and again, the sequels go for the medieval tone, and Kylo with his Knights of Ren, I mean, how much more medieval can you really get than that? The Knights of Ren with Kylo Ren being the leader, I mean, it's just perfect, and it just screams medieval tones for the Star Wars sequel trilogy. And we've seen this pattern before, not only in The Force Awakens, but also in The Last Jedi. In The Force Awakens, they introduced the cross-guard lightsaber and Maz Kanata's castle and Captain Phasma, and how her armor is like a knight. And then in The Last Jedi, you know, you have Supreme Leader Snoke's throne room with his Praetorian Guards, like he's a king or something around those lines. You can see all these different medieval tones repeatedly, and it's a very interesting thing that Disney and Lucasfilm actually went for in the sequel trilogy. But looking at everything that has been happening, guys, with Star Wars as a whole and Star Wars Episode 9, what do you guys really expect to see J.J. Abrams do when it comes to prequel trilogy continuity? We do know that this is going to be a major part in Episode 9, and the fact that he's going to be using Episode 9 as a utility, a tool in a sense, to combine all 9 movies into one. All 9 movies within the same Star Wars universe really tells me that he's going to be doing something very, very special at the very end of this movie. At least I sure hope so. I really do hope that there's a lot of payoff at the very end of Episode 9, like many Star Wars fans out there deserve. I think that we do need a whole lot of closure when it comes to the characters of Rey and Kylo, and I'm really crossing my fingers that JJ delivers in a satisfying way. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. And thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.